right, welcome. We are here at the Foster Java Like. We have a couple of different topics today. First, Raul Escobar will show us about how GivePulse's technology can help us facilitate volunteer and foster engagement. And then Morgan Rivera will tell us how shelters can use GoodPup, an app that provides users with live private dog training remotely to support fosters and adopters. And Jenay Bennett will tell us how her organization uses GoodPup. So welcome. We are recording. Raul, would you like to start?
Yes, I can. I don't know if I have access to share my screen as well.
That is a good question. Let me see if I can. Is it not letting you?
Let me double check. It is.
Oh, good.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me here, Kelly. It's been a pleasure meeting you and for the opportunity to tell everybody about GivePulse. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of GivePulse and what we do, but I am happy to tell you. Can you see my screen where it says GivePulse for Social Impacts? Yes?
Yes.
All right. So I'll tell you a little bit of what we do, and I'm going to show you the different capabilities that we have. But we work with thousands of nonprofit organizations across the country, and we provide them with a community engagement platform that helps them to manage everything that has to do with events, donations, and their network. Our mission is to enable everyone in the world to participate and engage in lifting the communities to new heights. We were founded in 2012 in Austin, Texas. That's where I'm from. Well, I'm from Chile, but I live in Austin. And so far we have over 100,000 groups in GivePulse, and we have verified over 10 million impacts. So we work with a lot of animal centers, foster care, different organizations that care for animals, and we provide them with a platform that helps them to manage everything that has to do with volunteer management and matching. You can create different kinds of opportunities and events in GivePulse. You can fundraise through the platform. We also give you tools to manage your network, both internally and externally. We provide every single one of you guys with a database. So everything that happens in GivePulse is tracked automatically in your database. What we want is to not only save you the time of transferring information, maybe from a application form into a spreadsheet. Everything is done automatically, and it's easy for you to access that information, as well as different reports that you can create and save with GivePulse for anything that your organization may need. I am not checking the chat, but if there's any questions, please feel free to put them in there, and I'll check them later. So in terms of managing volunteers and events, for example, I know that you guys have different kind of opportunities that you need to fill with volunteers. So they're very customizable. You can create different kinds of events, public opportunities for everybody to see, or private opportunities that may be just for your already volunteers, your network. They can be a single day event all the way to recurring opportunities. You can also create ticketed events in case that you need to ask for a registration fee, or maybe a donation for a t-shirt, anything like that. You can ask for the volunteers at the moment of registering. But what is key is that we want to make it easy, because there's a lot of platforms that are out there, and it's really a little difficult, intricate to create these opportunities. So we spent all last year in making our workflows even easier. So all you have to do is just input information, the title of your opportunity, the description. You can add your logos and photos, of course, and then what kind of opportunity it is, if it is a single day, multi-day, ongoing, and more. You can check all your registration settings, and then you can duplicate some of these events that you have already created, so that you don't have to redo the wheel all the time. You can just change some of the details. We have event templates that you guys can use too. So the idea is to simplify your administration work. Then we also, GivePulse is like a social network of volunteer, kind of like a Facebook. So anybody can create a user account for GivePulse. The idea is to connect people that want to participate and help nonprofits in their work with those organizations. So anybody can go to givepulse.com/search, or they can download the app and they can look for volunteer opportunities in their area. I do it every weekend with my kids. I go to the app and I check, what is going on and where can we go help. And I can narrow down that search by the date in which I want to volunteer, by the type of event, the cost, if it is a virtual opportunity or remote or in person. And the idea is to give the volunteers, to narrow down that search so they can find opportunities that are dear to their heart, and also give them an easy registration process so that, it's not complicated. We give you tools to communicate with your people. You can send emails to all of your members or just an individual. We also provide with email templates, to make it a little bit easier, and we automate a lot of the communication. So, for example, if I register to volunteer to any of your events, I will automatically get an email with all of the details about the opportunity. You can customize those emails. I would also get a reminder, a day or two before, even a week before, to remind myself that, hey, you schedule yourself to the opportunity. I'm expecting to show up. And then lastly, something that it's very important for organizations that want to keep accurate numbers on the data and the hours of the volunteers. We send the volunteers a confirmation email, and we encourage them to go back into the system to track their own hours, and also to provide any feedback that they had about the opportunity. You can ask different questions there to get the feedback from those volunteers. Then you can easily pull, different reports of, your different volunteers. You'll have, a grid where you can see everybody that participate with the organization. You can filter, you can add different filters to your needs. You can see here, you can have user role, the email, the total amount of hours that they volunteer, total impacts. You can add quick notes on each one of your volunteers. And of course, you can filter them out. You can have tags, for example, here have, all the volunteers that are dog take hike volunteers or dog trainer volunteers, dog walker. You can filter them out. If you need to send communication to each one of them, or you need to search for someone, you can easily pull all that information. It's going to be on your dashboard. And also for your volunteers, they can track their own engagement. So if you're working with a lot of students, for example, from different colleges that work with GivePulse, they can keep track of all the hours that they volunteers, the donations, any surveys that they have filled out, any classes. They'll have access to that information so they can present it to their schools or community service hours, whatever the case may be. But the organizations also have access to all of their volunteer profiles so that they can easily pull this information as well. In terms of, am I going too fast? Or am I going too slow? Am I good? Okay. We also provide the organizations to manage their network. And this is both internally and externally. So for example, organizations that have different programs that they want to segment out, or different locations or different group of people, they can create different GivePulse groups for each one of them. They can have their own administrator, they can have their own volunteer opportunities, their own registration processes. And like that, they can have, volunteers in different groups within the organization, depending on where they are participating. And this is a great way to, to keep information that is specific to a given program, separated and clean and organized within your network. And then to help you to grow your network, like I said, we work with so many organizations and universities, cities, municipalities, that we want you to grow that network by affiliating with some of them. So if you find a university close to your area, you can affiliate with them. And what this does, sorry, my English. is that every time that you post an opportunity on GivePulse, it will also be posted on the landing page of that institution of higher education, for example. So then your opportunity will be seen by all of the users from those other networks. You can also fundraise through GivePulse. You have all capabilities to do fundraising and crowdfunding, peer-to-peer capabilities. You can sell items. You can use it as a marketplace if you have any merch that you would like to sell. Or you can manage your in-kind donations. If you're running a donation campaign, you can put in there what items is it that you are requiring, and then the platform will help you to manage and organize that. Then all you have to do is just coordinate the delivery or pick up all those items. The other thing that is helpful for organizations, it's typically they tell me that they want to know what their volunteers are experiencing with you and how happy they are, So at any moment when a volunteer is interacting with you through the platform, you can add different data collection points or questions. This is when they're registering to an opportunity, or when they're providing feedback from that email. But you guys can also create surveys, and then send them out for program evaluations. They're very easy to create. You have different alternatives for all different kinds of questions. So it's a really good way to collect feedback from the people that are helping you at the organization, and then work on those programs. There's so much data that we collect that we want to make it easy for you to be able to analyze all this data. So the organizations can easily pull reports and see volunteer hours over time, donations over time, cost distribution charts, even a heat map to see where in your area that those pockets of volunteerism are taking place. We have full import and export capabilities, so you can import all of your existing data into GivePulse, your volunteers, to continue tracking their engagement. And of course, you can export all this information in case you need to present it to the board or for grant purposes, anything like that. And lastly, like I said, we do have a mobile app. It has both user and admin capabilities. So as a user, I can download it on my iPhone or my Android phone. I can look for opportunities in my area. I can register directly. I can send messages to my volunteer coordinator. For example, if I'm running late, I'm on the bus, I can quickly send her or him a message. And then on the admin side, our administrators, they can post events, they can track registrations and communicate with their users. They can also you can set it on a kiosk mode, for example, and have it on a tablet at the registration office. And then your volunteers, as they come in, they can swipe right and then swipe left to clock out. And then all those hours are tracked automatically in your system. And it gives them a good sense of time in real time of who's participating with you at any given moment. I'm not sure if I went really quick or not, but that is in a nutshell what we do. So thank you, everybody. I don't know if we're going to do questions now or afterwards. But before we do that, I just want to let you know that anybody who would like to learn more about GivePulse, I'll be happy to meet with you so with that I can learn more about your procedures and what you do and see if there's a connection there we can help. This is my meeting link, but I'll add it also to the chat. And my email is raul@givepulse.com.
Awesome. We have a few minutes. We can take a couple of questions, and then we'll take some at the end as well. Does anybody have any at the moment? Raul, I was wondering, there's so much capability in GivePulse, and when you create an opportunity, would you be able to create like an opportunity to foster a specific pet in there?
Yes, you can. You can create there's a couple ways to do it. You can create a separate group just for fostering pets, and then of course create an opportunity that for each one of the pets, you can have the photo of the pet, the description, and have people apply, and then the foster administration team can go through those applications and then approve them, and set up all that communication afterwards.
Awesome. That's really cool. Brenna was asking, does it allow for peer-to-peer contact through the app?
Peer-to-peer contact?
Like volunteers could talk to each other.
Yes, volunteers can talk to each other. You can enable that. So yeah.
Very cool. And then has this app been used in Canada?
I know that the app and the platform has been used in different countries. I know that we have one or two organizations that use it in Canada and a university. I'm not sure which ones they are. But yes, we have the capability to be there. And we work with organizations in Mexico and a few in Europe as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I think we'll move on, but if there are any more during the presentation, we can we'll have time at the end. Morgan and Jenay, would you like to start? I'm not sure which one of you wants to start. It's either one.
I'm going to kick it off if that's okay. And then I'll pass it to Jenay. She has the most interesting stuff to share, I think. But let me share my screen. Can everybody see this? Okay. All right. So thank you for having us today, Kelly. I'm excited to be here talking with everyone. Jenay, I'll let you introduce yourself, but I'm Morgan Rivera. There's definitely some familiar faces on here. So I may have worked with you in my capacity at GoodPup, or I may have worked with you in the capacity of my last position, which was with HSUS. I was there for about 6 years. And in that capacity, I was actually the very first person to purchase scholarships from GoodPup, which means that I've kind of come full circle. It's kind of cool that I'm now working with GoodPup because my entire focus is on scholarships, which is what we're going to talk about today. Jenay is going to really dive into how her organization uses them. But Jenay, do you want to kind of intro yourself real quick?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jenay. I am the foster director for Dallas Pets Alive. We are a foster-based rescue here in Texas, focusing on North Texas. And I'm going to share with you guys how we use GoodPup for our fosters.
All right. So I will not read this to you guys verbatim, but basically, I just want to make sure that everyone knows that our entire mission here at GoodPup is to support you, whether you're a shelter or a small foster-based rescue. All of us on the shelter team have extensive experience in the shelter world. So we're pretty fortunate. It's kind of our job to figure out how we can take this app and tweak it and grow and change things to be as supportive as possible to the different organizations that we partner with. So we love questions and we love feedback, even if it's you telling us you don't like things, we like to hear it because we want to get better. So I thought I would go through really fast in case you're not familiar with GoodPup and just explain what it is really quickly, because I think without knowing that, what Jenay is going to talk about will be a little confusing. So if you are not already familiar with GoodPup, it is essentially a virtual dog training app. So what that includes is one session per week. It's a 30-minute virtual training session. You can do it via your phone, computer, tablet, whatever works best for you. And then you also get unlimited chat supports. That's 24/7. We also have very flexible training hours. Our trainers are available all the way until midnight Eastern, because we know that most people work roughly 9 to 5. So we have trainers available all the way until midnight because we want to be accessible to as many people as possible. We also, with the training, you get homework, which is, we've kind of tried to gamify it a little bit. So as you kind of work through the training sessions, you get different homework, and that all kind of unlocks as you move through. I do like to point out to everyone that this is very tailored. So this is not there's not a like set it and forget it type plan. Our trainers work with the individual person, whether that's an adopter or foster, to determine what their needs are, what they need to focus on. So it's very much not a one size fits all. It's very tailored to the needs of the individual owner and dog. Also included in GoodPup is the medical support. So our chat is staffed by licensed LVTs, CVTs, or RVTs. So they're not going to diagnose anything. They're not going to prescribe anything, but it can be very useful, particularly for foster families that maybe pick up a dog the day of or the day after surgery and the incision's looking a little funny and no one at the shelter is available to answer their questions. They can snap a picture, text it in, and our team can say, ooh, you know what? That actually looks really serious. I think you need to get to an emergency clinic. Or, hey, you know what? Not a big deal. Send me a picture tomorrow or, through the weekend, whatever the case may be. Let's monitor it, but I don't think that we need to panic, which again is very nice. It takes a little burden off of the shelter rescue staff, but then also it's really that nice kind of hand holding right there along with the adopter or foster. And then they also get access to a training library, which just has a whole host of excellent material, and they can kind of read on their own if they want outside of their training sessions. So these are just some kind of like quick talking points that I share mostly for the kind of like adoption counselor type staff, but these are kind of the highlights of what we like to share. There's immediate availability, so you can get same day. You can download the app, sign up, and have a training session 20 minutes later, which is nice. If you are taking home a foster dog or newly adopted dog, and you get home from the shelter and realize that you've got some serious questions, you can log into our app immediately and get access to a trainer in real time. Certainly not just for adopters, as we will talk about here in a minute, lots of fosters, lots of surrender prevention. So we are accessible to anybody that wants or needs our services. Really nice thing, you get to train at home. So super helpful for those really fearful dogs or dogs that don't travel so well in the car. It's nice you get to do training right from the comfort of home. And the trainer is able to see your environment, the environment that the dog is actually in, which can sometimes be really helpful in helping the adopters or fosters if they need to work on some environmental management. And we, of course, are all science-based, are positive, and we are definitely affordable compared to your kind of average private trainer or group class. So GoodPup has essentially three kind of main buckets. We have the affiliate program, which allows shelters or rescues to sign up with us. It's no cost to them. They get a unique link, and every adopter or foster, whatever the case may be, that signs up with GoodPup and continues on after the free first week, the rescue or shelter actually gets a donation back from us as kind of a thank you for participating. Then we also have webinars. We kind of tend to do them in series. We've found that these are super helpful and appreciated by a lot of our shelter partners, because someone can call them or with a question or what have it, and they will just send out a webinar. So they're pretty thorough and in-depth. And then the third thing is scholarships. So that's what I mentioned in the beginning. Scholarships are essentially like gift certificates. So we know that the training that we provide is a lower cost, like I said, than what typically a private trainer would be. However, sometimes that's still inaccessible to some people. So a lot of our partners, which me in my previous role with HSUS was the first one to do this, I saw the value in this, and I was like, hey, if I can absorb the cost of it and not pass that cost on to the adopters, like how much more success am I going to have helping to get these dogs into homes? Obviously I had a lot of success with it at HSUS, and long story short, now I'm here at GoodPup. But like I said, it's essentially a gift card. So the shelter or rescue absorbs the cost of it rather than the adopter or foster or owner that's considering surrendering covering the cost of it. So there are kind of 4 main ways that scholarships are used by our partners. Jenay is going to talk in depth about how she uses them with her organization for foster support. But I just wanted to touch on the others, kind of give you guys ideas in case you are curious or it might be a good fit for your organization. So a lot of our partners use scholarships for post-adoption support. So they have a rough and tumble, rowdy dog that they know needs to get out of the shelter, but they're having a hard time getting adopted. They'll include training with that so that the adopter on day 1 has access to training to help them with the transition into the new home. Other partners are using them just for all dogs. So they'll kind of run campaigns where during a certain period of time, all dogs will come with a scholarship, or they might use it for like promotional purposes. If you adopt during this time period, it comes with 4 free weeks of training. So that's one of the ways. So post-adoption support. Another is surrender prevention. So if your organization does intake and they have any sort of staffing that is able to have those kind of conversational approaches, if it turns out that something or a reason that they're considering surrendering is something that training may be able to support, then the shelter or rescue is able to provide the owner, if they're open to it, with free training. And then another way that they're being utilized is for long stay dogs / staff development. And what I mean by that is we have a group of partners that have started doing this, and it's kind of my favorite thing actually at this point that we do. What these different partners have done is purchase scholarships, and then they give those scholarships to usually their kennel staff to use to train their long stay dogs. So it's super cool. It's getting those dogs obviously out of their kennels, positive time spent interacting and training. So it's great for the dog, right? I don't have to explain that. But the reason I love it so much is because the shelters are developing those staff. These are typically, like I said, they're typically just the kennel staff that maybe doesn't get any or very limited opportunities to like really interact with the dogs. They're just cleaning and feeding all day long. So it's a super positive experience for the staff, but also they're learning with Fluffy right here and now, but they're learning skills that are going to carry on to every dog that they interact with down the road. So I personally am very excited about that one. I think it's really cool. I've gotten incredible feedback from the partners that have started doing that. And something to note, we can then transfer that scholarship on with the dog. So this one shelter in particular here in Florida, they picked 10 of their really long stay dogs. Some of them had been in the shelter for over a year, and I need to check in with them, but almost all of them have now moved into foster homes. So we were able to transfer those scholarships to the foster families, and they still have access to all of the notes and everything that the trainers worked on. So the trainer kind of follows the dog. It's really cool. So the trainer knows that dog and knows what it's been working on in the shelter, and now it has the foster families to kind of carry on that work with. So on that note, I'm going to kick it to Jenay, because the 4th way that scholarships are used is foster support. And her organization is one of my favorite partners. They are all wonderful to work with at Dallas Pets Alive, and I'm going to let her talk about how they use them.
Awesome. Thank you, Morgan. All right. So like Morgan shared, GoodPup can be used in many ways. We are a foster-based organization, like I said, and we use GoodPup for fosters, alumni, and prevention surrenders to our shelter partners. And I want to share one of our success stories with GoodPup, and it's about a dog named Forest Meadow. She was found as a stray in a Forest Meadow area, hence her name. And she came to DPA with lots of behavior issues that the average foster would probably run away from. She has some stranger danger, has a hard time being outside, surprisingly. And when she was captured, she also needed an FHO hip surgery, and she did not like being in her crate. So we had lots of struggles with that. But with the help of GoodPup, she has come so far. You can click next, Morgan. And thanks to GoodPup and the training and the trainer and all of their resources, she now has an easier time meeting strangers. She loves her foster siblings. They have 3 other German Shepherds, and she enjoys her crate time, which was definitely needed for her surgery recovery. And she's now a certified good girl. So we use GoodPup a lot, and everyone at GoodPup is extremely helpful and they're super responsive. One of my favorite things about GoodPup that Morgan already shared is that you can sometimes get training same day. So I could have a foster email me, you know, at their wit's end, and same day they can get a training session, which is amazing. And something else that we just are starting to do with our scholarships for fosters, we do spot tag events at our shelter partners. And as an incentive for our fosters to pick up a new foster, we are going to purchase a bunch of GoodPup scholarships. And if they tag a dog on our tag day at the shelter, the spot tag event, they get free training for their new foster. And that's how we're going to get some of these dogs out of the shelter and into foster homes. So we love GoodPup.